What's up, music fans of the internet? I am Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album where we're talking about new music. Today we're going to talk about Where in Our Woods by Elephant Micah. Before we get into it, though, Derek, let's kick things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin, everyone at home.
And we'll start with a little background on Elephant Micah. That is not his born name. It's actually Joseph O'Connell, who works as a folklorist by day. He's based out of Indiana, and for a while now he's sort of quietly released a mixture of CDs and limited LPs. Very difficult for most people to get their hands on, but a lot of critics and like-minded artists have actually really praised his work, and this is what they're calling sort of his first big release, even though it's not a major label. But I think it came out on Western vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. So it is his 12th album, but you've probably still never heard of him. He's new to Derek and I, and yeah, let's talk about Where in Our Woods. Derek, what do you think it sounds like?
Kevin, I think Where in Our Woods sounds like a somber Sam Beam mixed with a non-falsetto bare bones Bon Iver and the regionally focused songwriting of an early Sufjan Stevens.
Nice mixture there. I like those references. I think it sounds like Richard Buckner, Nick Drake, and Devendra Banhart go on a nature walk together. So there's probably drugs involved in that, but maybe not if you listen to Elephant Micah. Let's talk about some key tracks. Derek, what's your pick?
Kevin, I'm going with Slow Time Vultures.
Right on, right on. I'm going to go with Demise of the Bible Birds, so why don't you start us off, Derek? Slow Time Vultures is number 4, right before mine on the album.
All right, Slow Time Vultures is really based around this deliberate strummed acoustic guitar. More often than not, it's just a single string, mostly lower notes. At times there's a low, rumbling organ, and the lyrics are delivered even more deliberately, often taking a whole bar for a single word. Which really kind of adds to the overall effectiveness. The lyrics here kind of describe the story of the history of Indiana's observance of daylight savings time. Long story short, there were certain counties in Indiana that either didn't observe daylight savings time or were on the central time zone, the complete opposite of the rest of Indiana. And so this song is just talking about how a lot of folks didn't like being forced into the Eastern time zone. Having lived in Western Ohio for a little bit, I encountered some of these counties and thought it was bizarre. It was all bizarre as a kid, but this really kind of hit home for me, the song, and once I just geeked out once I realized kind of what it was about. And I guess one thing to kind of take away is the slow, deliberate sound here really acts as a metaphor for the story, really reflecting an embrace of the old or rural culture and defying the fast pace of the modern city, if you will. So I thought it was fantastic for all these reasons.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pick the fastest paced song on the album to take a left turn here. It's the next track, though, right after the one Derek just mentioned. It's called Demise of the Bible Birds, and it's sort of got these trip-trap drums, background vocals, which don't really appear on the album very many times. There's a toy recorder, there's a pump organ. Lyrics describe this the true story of this preacher who would train birds to reenact Bible parables. Not sure how you do that, but I wouldn't mind seeing it in person. There's a really great line here. He says they had to migrate to their next tour date. A little bit different from the Migrating Vultures in the previous track. But overall, just a fun, folksy waltz. You know, if you're not into his slower stuff, this one will definitely bend your ear. So check that one out. And now on to best lyrics. Derek, what do you say?
Kevin, I'm taking one from Slow Vultures, which by the time I say this, or I guess in the time it would take him to sing this, I will have said it. I could have said it like 5 times. So just to give you an idea for the pace here. But he says, "We can't afford to go forward anymore, that we already do what our nature tells us to. If all that we know is to linger behind, ours are the spoils and the things that we can find on our own time." Just really, I just thought the way the lyrics, this one was great and just really encapsulated the story.
Yeah, great line there. I also mentioned like when he mentions how the vultures can't drive trucks. I thought that was fun. However, I'm going to pick one from a song called No Underground, and the line goes, "There is no underground. There's shining light everywhere." And it's just kind of one of those very reflective, thoughtful lines, which are sort of the hallmark of Elephant Micah here, and really kind of makes you stop and think about things in a little bit different way. So that's why I dug that one. And now, time for overall rating. Derek, what are you giving this one?
Kevin, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. As you mentioned earlier, this was kind of both of our first introduction here, but I thought it was really solid. The lyric delivery I really liked because it really just seemed to mirror a theme or feelings he was trying to deliver. As I kind of described in Slow Time Vultures, I thought he did it really well there. Good, it's fantastic storytelling. The music often mirrored the story going on. I have a hard time finding a con. Maybe the only downside being these are kind of hard tracks at times to get into. Slow Time Vultures, a good 7 minutes, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Derek. I'm also going to give this one a 4 out of 5. The only con I could really find is it's not the most show-stopping, just grabbing music, but that's very intentional. I think that's to let you sort of focus on the thoughts that he brings up, and it's intentional, as Derek mentioned. Great point. It often mirrors the story or the observance he's making in each track. On the prose side, I think he navigates between this sort of unbiased observance and questioning sentiments very well, which probably comes from his background as a folklorist. And for all the bareness of instrumentation, I think he still keeps things pretty interesting, both musically and lyrically. And in today's sort of noisy music world, this is a refreshing exercise in restraint. So there you have it, guys. Where in Our Woods by Elephant Micah. 4 out of 5 from both Derek and I for a collective 8 out of 10. So definitely check this one out. And let us know what you think. And there you have it. We'll see you next time, guys. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And we are last week's album. Cheers, guys.